Hello. There we go. We should be all good. Just waiting for Steam to update Resonite a little bit and replace the cable on my headset, and now we're here. Welcome to the stream, Angel Boy. Thank you for letting me know. That means it's not using the right microphone. Also, hello, Rue.
Who are you people?
Here, Aunt Leon. So, what about now? Why sound like I inhaled the helium balloon or something? I should be good now.
Sound okay to me?
Yeah. In Streamlabs, it must have chose the other one.
Oh, the camera. That's the other thing I was trying to remember earlier.
Oh yeah, we can show that too. Yeah.
We got a lot of stuff to show off.
Yeah. For those that haven't been seeing the devlogs the past week or so, there's definitely a lot that not only the coding team, but also our team has been working on as well too. And to introduce us, I'm Aegis Wolf, and this is Rushen of the Resonite art team. Welcome to the art team office hours, where not only we'll show off what we've been up to and some of the cool things that you can make within Resonite or using Resonite, as well as, that's my desk, as well as answer any questions you folks have for the platform itself, how to make things in it, or using it to make things. Just make sure I don't entangle myself.
Usually we start off by showing some of the stuff we've worked on, either over the month or over the week. There are a few things we would like to show off. Which one do you want to do first, Aegis?
Give me a moment. Oh, I see.
They untie themselves from the pretzel that they are.
Yeah, I see what happened. Just slide this up here. And I am now free. Rue's voice seems to be inverted. Well, it might be flip preview. Try it now.
Hello. Am I on the right side now?
Yeah. Wait, if I flip preview in menu. Oh. Huh.
We're using
still the same.
The new camera we set up, so we might have to tweak a few things. The reason the camera's rotating.
I still spawned the old one out of habit.
It's okay. I'll stand on this side. It'll totally fix it, right?
Wait, that means the audio's still coming from there. Audio from camera view. Okay, I see. Yeah, that's relatively new, so this might be easier now.
There we go. Hello.
Nice. Alrighty. I want to answer Angel Boy's question. I'm doing fine. I
pretty good as well.
Installed a new cable replacement for this headset, so hopefully my face and eye tracking doesn't disconnect again.
You know what? We should show them the tool since you were pulling one out anyway.
Yeah. How about let's start with the camera though, because that's technically what we're using too at the same time.
I mean,
so
either or.
Yeah. Let me go to the inventory.
I figured if we need to like open an inspector or use the material tooltip or something, you can just show off the new tool at the same time.
Yeah. I'm going to the essentials anyways, so we'll get both while we're there. Within the tools under miscellaneous, there is a set of 4 new multi-tools. I may as well bring them all out. They all function the same, they just have different visual models. There we go. I probably showcased these a few times before, but essentially it's replacing the old one. So I can just remove that one and start using a duplicate of this one, for example. And it seems that Rue already has a question as well. We'll get to that in a moment. uh, for these tools, how you can operate them, you can either add or remove tools by simply spawning out a tool, one of the default tools. Now, one of the reasons why previously we updated these tools to have both dynamic variables and snappers is so that you can simply snap them on there just like that. And it actually, well, works just like the tools. Now, how do I swap tools, you ask? If people ask, within your radio menu, I'm going to switch to my POV here. You got this little multi-tool icon here. It's changing colors. So if I click on it, I get this, I guess, pseudo radio menu that pops up. Now I got this little bubble in the middle here. If I want to select this Protoflex tool, I just touch it to there, or there, or there. I got 2 dev tools. Well, what if I want to remove one? I can just remove them or add them to this list here, or even add them onto there. And if there's a tool active here, you can't really grab them out unless if you have it unequipped.
It should be mentioned that this tool is primarily for VR users, since desktop mode has access to quick tools anyway on the numpads or the number keys. And for those of you that don't know about this, if you're in desktop mode and you press 1 through 9, you will have all of the different tools. I say, sorry, it's 2 through 9. And it just quick swaps them. You press 1 to put away your tool, and it'll also unequip any tool that you have in your hand whenever you swap, like switch tools.
Yep. Also, let's answer this first question from Angel Boy right here. Question to Rue: why are you so long? Or,
so
well,
I actually
long.
really like to.
There we go.
I really like answering that question because as memeable as it is, the animal that I have based my character off of is actually endangered. So I like to educate people on it sometimes. I'm a maned wolf, which is one of these creatures right here. They primarily reside in like Brazil, in the jungles and stuff. They eat a lot of fruit, namely a fruit called a wolf apple, which is kind of named after them actually. But they do also eat meat sometimes, and they have extremely long legs because of the grass, the tall grassland areas that they live in. But they're a cool animal, and that's why I'm long, because they are long, got long legs.
Ah, there's another question from Angel Boy. Is it possible to make it so you don't have to open the context menu to get the tool selection menu? Now that is a hard question, mainly because that was something that I was trying to figure out before coming to that conclusion. The main reason why I ended up just doing the radio menu is not every controller is created equally, unfortunately. You don't have all these extra buttons on, say, a Vive Wand or an ET controller, or like the Cosmos controllers have that like extra bumper button, and then you got The index, which are the ones that I'm wearing right now, they have like two buttons on the sides. They got the touchpads. They also got the thumbsticks, although I would avoid clicking the thumbsticks to keep them still functioning.
Yep.
But and also in order to open a thing on desktop, it was also a thing considered too. But the main problem with desktop at the moment is trying to position this from the desktop viewpoint at the moment. It's a little bit tricky because not only you
So,
got your desktop view, you got the third person view, which is kind of like over the shoulder, and then you also got the third person camera that you can fly around anywhere in the world.
yep.
But
Plus, we
people,
figured that it was
go
kind of
ahead.
like redundant since desktop has a multi-tool at all times anyway. So,
Yeah.
in fact, some of the tools that spawns out whenever you press buttons for desktop are actually edited specifically for desktop users. Like the Protoflux tooltip has a few extra things in there to make how it functions a little bit more user friendly for desktop users.
And the thing about these tools is they're made so that people can basically make the snappers work for these multi tools because people have made their own multi tools for years now with different mechanisms to like have multiple tools on one or have it so that you can dynamically add or remove tools. The original concept of the tools was to be sort of like a modular way of attaching and detaching tools because the main idea is with just like these tools alone, just having some sort of like floating object in front of your hand seems quite foreign to someone like brand new to like VR or within the platform itself too when thinking of a tool. You think about it by holding something physically, but it kind of like ended up being something where it's like a hybrid approach. And at the time, the design it was made so that it had all the tools in one, which wasn't really a smart decision in the long run. But now having it separated tools for the multi-tool is much nicer and much more ergonomic.
Which actually brings us to the next question.
Mm-hmm.
By Fallen, I think that's how you say it. So the tools are physically stored inside the radio menu. Not in the menu, but they are stored in the tool under like a root slot for it.
We can crack
Um,
open one of them to take a look.
these are the more performant versions of the tools. I think like the old ones we had in the essentials, we took and refreshed, so we used those to make this new multi-tool.
Yes.
We did like a complete refresh of the meshes, their UV maps, the materials, the colliders, even. So these are a lot better set up.
Yep.
They even have locales now too.
And this
Um,
uses spatial variables in order to function as well too. How it works essentially, you got this transform root, and what it does, it positions the base of the menu here relative to the user locally, whoever's using the tool. So if I like turn around, it turns with me, and if I was on like a moving platform or vehicle or so, it'll go with me. And yeah, and swapping out the different sources of the copy global transform and global scale, as well as under it, writing a offset of it to basically put it where it last was. And then I can just freely move this independently from this tool. There we go. I can set it to manual. Ah, there we
Hmm.
go. Yeah. All in all, these are in the essentials now. People can mess around with them. You got the old traditional one for the handle. You got a kind of a stylus brush based off of the concept that we had of it originally. I took the old brush model and basically cut off the front part of it and added like a little crystal there as if it snaps to it. And also did the same thing with the microphone as well. Because I know some folks want the actual microphone being an actual handle microphone and not just a tool. So,
A wild fruxis has appeared.
oh
Duggadoo.
no, oh no. uh, Before my mind and the minds of everyone here have a brainworm of a song.
Oh,
Marty
is this the
SH
cognito
asks,
hazard
have you
you were
ever
talking
used
about earlier?
what?
Is
Yeah,
this the cognito hazard?
yes, it is a cognito hazard. Have you ever used vertex tangents? There's not much resources on them online, but Resonite apparently supports them.
I've never heard of him.
I've actually I've messed with normals in here by having a I have a rig of that somewhere, like a experiment I was making. Okay, there we go. Where you can like mess with oh, the camera smoothing is stacking on itself. Okay, there we go. Oh no, you saw my eyes. That was terrifying. Okay, triangle. Uh, yeah, I've messed with normals before. So if I like twist these gizmos here, they control each normal of the triangle, and that shows how it reflects the light on it. If I twist these, also twists how that reflection goes. That's how you get models that look smooth or sharp. I don't know the exact full technical side of how they work, but yeah. Brooks did answer some of the question as well too, is you don't typically mess around with those. You swap
Did
back
we
to
ever actually show off the camera? Like the new one?
we didn't yet. We showed off the tools first, remember?
Yeah. Let me pull out another one.
Yep.
Wait, we can
Also
point
bring
a
out
camera at a
the
camera.
default one too, the older one. Oh, whoops.
I think that was me actually. Oh,
Oh yeah.
I think you clicked the button on the camera I was holding.
All right, let me spawn the the
Use it.
new
I got
old.
it.
Okay, we both did at the same time. Okay, next up, the camera. And also the answer Frux's question, Dugadoo, yes, the Dugadoo is now stuck in my head. If people want to know what it is, look up on our YouTube channel uh, one of the Resonance podcast clips, and then you'll know. Or if you just type in Doctor Who or Dugadoo, that'll be the first thing there, and they're still streaming that that song to this day. Ooh, you should bring in that other rig as well too.
You know what's funny? Is we brought in that camera rig, but it's
It's
set
not
to not render on
visible.
cameras, so you guys can't see it yet. We'll have to remove the camera components from it.
Oh wait, that won't work either.
This one's visible on camera.
Yeah, let me get the old one real quick. I was about to take a gesture camera picture and it just it won't show up. Camera anchor iterate. Oh yeah, that's the camera anchors themselves. That's the okay. Yep, there we go.
Believe if I take
Is
those
this
off.
visible? No. Is this visible? Yes. Except for the camera anchor, but that's fine. Okay. Uh, yeah. So while waiting on some different specific things for working on the tutorial world and all that, figured see if there's any other places to improve. Hence why I worked on things like the multi-tool and why we worked on things on like the camera. Kind of like shift our focus here and there so that we're not just only working on one thing, and also kind of prepare for the definitely the folks that want to hop in here once the new updates arrive. And updating things like the cameras and such will definitely help other folks. Oh, it doesn't show the preview, but that's fine. So, let's start with the old camera
I made
here.
this one visible, by the way.
Oh, that works. Okay. Well, I'll just move that one there. Essentially, the new things with the other camera, oh, you actually can see it here, is the just like anything else that we've made, we've been going through updating each model to use more optimized textures and shared textures. Like the same textures that are on here, as you can see, are also on the camera itself. So it's saving you resources and such. Now, as for the features, first one right off the bat I'd like to show, I did mention it a little bit earlier because I forgot to turn it off, but it's this new smoothing feature. Now, if I bring the other camera here, and okay, there we go. If I turn this on, the camera is
You may have to
smooth.
put your back to the camera for that, because it's going to render on your side.
Yeah, I see it in my preview right now because
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So you can adjust this right here. The more it is to the right, the more smooth the camera is. And then you can just turn it off. I recommend turning it off whenever you're in streamer mode or like using the streamer camera because the uh, camera anchors can have a smoothing option. Because if I go to smooth POV, render private UI, if I go over here, interpolation between cameras, if I have that on and like swap between camera anchors and kind of turn down the speed,
Oh, now you can show off the little selfie stick.
it's smooth also on the camera anchors, so it's off by default. If I go back to manual, flip this around, and scale it up, neat thing about this new camera is incredibly easy to see yourself in a preview, because this menu is just one menu instead of like two menus on each side. It flips using the flip at user component. It is incredibly useful. It's like one of the good use cases for that component because it's not that often used, but it is handy when you need it.
Yep.
And
Extremely helpful for whenever you're doing like streams and stuff.
yes,
Like right now, when we're looking at the stream camera, instead of having to kind of like look up at a preview that's above it, we just look at the center of the camera, and that's the preview that you guys are seeing. And if you were to use this to like take selfies, all you have to do is hold it like a cell phone, and it'll just work. Most people are comfortable with that kind of thing anyway.
well, let me turn off private UI. There we go.
You should show like the vertical rotation stuff. We did also imply or provide a fix for the like UI flashing that was going on for desktop users whenever you
Mm-hmm.
had one of these cameras spawned out. So that shouldn't happen anymore as well.
If people still have the old cameras and want to use it, go into the camera depth in the inspector and put a -1. That should fix it. And yeah, as you can see here, I turned on the camera frustum, which is the field of view of what the camera looks at. And you can see that where the camera looks at is just in front of the camera there. Let me
It
turn that
should be
off.
noted that if you're making a camera from scratch, you're going to want to set that depth to -1 as well, because
Yep.
it will. It's a thing that affects all the camera components. So
Some of the other little extra features, at least on this one specifically, you got some like quick shortcut buttons up here. This one takes a picture. This one starts up the timed picture. So next time you have this on and you click a picture, it'll start the timer to the time that you selected in the settings. So if I go into here, I turn it off, there's no timer. I set it to 10 seconds, for example. It turns on because I also turn it on right here. But I can also just turn it off and it's or back on again and it'll be where it is. Also, let me
yep,
turn you up again.
my
There we
fly.
go.
I can go to yell.
Actually, oh yeah, you're right. I can just go to the
Yeah,
users
set me to
here.
yell.
That should be better. Say something.
Hopefully, I'm not too loud now.
Nope, you're good. And some fun things decided to add. First off, a fifth filter here. It's a simple noise, camera noise filter, as well as a green color filter to make it look like night vision. And within the guides, first you got like your rule of thirds. Also, you got the golden ratio. Figured I'd make that work on every corner here. And I found uh, another common one is for like different symmetries at different angles. There's a few
If you want to
others.
line up a, diagonal picture with the floor, you can just line up one of the
Yeah,
lines.
and all these changes are also copied over to the older one as well too. You got the smoothing slider on the bottom. You got the different filters that you can apply.
Also, bring out this in case we want to show that off.
Yes.
I think it's done. Honestly,
So
move all these things out of the way.
now, in relation to cameras, before we move on, there's some extra. Oh, okay. Found another thing I need to update on this. I
Isn't
need
that
to
the old
make the
one?
sliders don't drive. Oh wait, I did. It's because the old
Yeah,
one doesn't
yeah.
have.
This is the old one.
Okay, so one thing that Rue was talking about to me is that one thing that some people might like to use is a selfie stick within here. And so I created one using procedural meshes and sliders and such. And there's an invisible camera anchor right at the end here. You can like slide left or right, or extend outward or inward. And so I can take this, go to my camera anchors, and oh, there we go. Oh, the camera scale is that big. Okay, so I can like move the camera. Right now it's
It's probably because
facing
I
me.
spawned it out.
Yeah, that's because I scaled it up. Actually, can I scale it down is the question.
Not when it's in the anchor, I think.
Oh, there we go. Selfie stick. There we go. Now it should be a reasonable size. Although when it's larger, it's easier to adjust it.
Yep.
Ooh. uh, so, another thing you can do with this is in the radio menu, I'm going to swap to first person here. Got this little option here. I'll click it. And within the uh, camera anchor, you can change the FOV per camera anchor. And so I made it so that you can gradually change its FOV right there too, as well as turn off the option to have the camera look at you no matter which angle this camera gimbal is, as well as this feature right here. If I have this on and I put the camera on the selfie stick and I press the trigger, it will take a picture. Now, by default, this thing will not be visible in cameras. Let me set it back to manual. There we go. So you won't even see this thing like in pictures you take or streams or in a streamer camera at all. It's
Yep.
because it's using the render material override, where only for like cameras specifically, it has an invisible material. And for everything else, like us and mirrors, it'll be there. And I did see a few questions pop by. Let's kind of catch up on those. So first up, we have Ranks Fallen. Is there any way to get approximate subsurface scattering on PBR style materials? I see a subsurf option on Zyxy Toon. At the moment, the materials for like the PBR or PBS as it's called within here, uh, it's not really exposed yet or have been made, but a lot of these are Unity based shaders. One of the things is we're trying to, well, one of the recent updates, I guess, cycles, if you would call it, is to basically get all the functions of Resonite to be independent from Unity and just only use Unity as a rendering engine to potentially swap it out for a new one. So there isn't really going to be much to update with the current ones right now. More or less,
Yeah,
the
because
more you update what we have right now, that means more things that we would have to make whatever we switch to.
yeah, because once we do switch to a different rendering engine, all the current shaders will have to be remade essentially from scratch for that other engine.
With feature
So
parity.
yeah.
Now, on to the next one from Marty SH. Wait, what? It puts the filter on the lens? That's pretty cool. So within the old camera, there's like a little lens mesh that kind of scales up and down. Kind of does the same thing on the one right here, right now. This actually probably even works with the streamer camera too. The world is in sepia now. And the with this one, it's pretty much the same thing. It's just
Oh no.
scaling out quad instead of circle mesh. Now we're watching a trail cam right now.
That's not TB, that's LSD.
Yeah, trippy, isn't it? Oh, even my name tag. uh,
Oh my goodness.
and everything's saturated. Now it's normal.
What my monitor looks like when I turn on HDR.
Oh no.
Um, well, do you want to go over that other tool that we've set up?
After this recent question here from Angel Boy VR, I just remembered a friend of mine mentioned a while back there was an issue with the camera preview, something about the resolution of the preview also changing if you select 4K, lagging everyone in the session out. Apparently, it has a very simple toggle that to toggle that off and keep the preview at whatever its default resolution as. Mind taking a look at that unless if that is already fixed. So, about those fixes, there's not only that we have to tackle, there's also a feature request that is adding a way to make this camera system able to have a custom resolution set. Say if you don't want those standard like 1080 or 1080p, 4K, 3K, 8K, and if you want like a custom resolution picture or preview, that's one thing we're gonna have to look at. I did go through both cameras and organized out all the protoflux in there. It is pretty ancient because these things were like one of the first things we've done back when Resonite had a code name and everything. So it it needs some updates. We just did a lot of the visuals and some quality of life stuff. Main point is making this camera able to have like a preview that you can easily see, because it was much easier for folks to, well, we're streaming like this right now. It's much easier to see what we're doing. And Angel Boy, to answer sort of a question that they were trying to look for a way to recreate actual night vision. Uh, Simply, I used a procedural noise texture within here, made it black and white, and then within the noise texture, you can change the color of the black and the white to different colors. So I made one like a green, and the other one a kind of a darker green, and basically scrolled it multiple times. Because you would think you would have it generate different frames or procedurally generate it, but if you just scroll that texture fast enough, it looks like static anyways. And then what you do, you have it on a material, unlit material that's either multiply or transparent or that. Mainly multiply would work. And on top of that, if you're making night vision goggles specifically, technically not only you got, you know, the cameras that can see infrared lights, they would have like an actual infrared light on the headset or camera on itself to basically illuminate the area with infrared light, which is invisible to other, like the naked human eye.
I
And
wonder if you could like just set up a point light with a render transform override and just have it set to like user view so that
yeah,
only the camera can see the light.
that's one
That
way
way it
of
would
doing
act
it.
like the invisible ones.
Another way is making the user that is either holding the night vision goggles or the camera or whatnot, you have it equal to the local user. That way, it'll be only active for the user that's holding it. If that makes sense. Actually, I can quickly just show you because this was done way before the render transform overrides. I remember doing it. So, say if I had actually, I'll just quickly neat little protoflux tip here. So get active user self will get the user that this node specifically is under. So if you pack this under the object you're doing, and then you have it equal to the local user,
Oh, yeah, here you
are oh,
go.
see there's, I swear, every week there's something that like I run into, and it's like I wish I knew this, but it exists now. Okay, let's show the old way of doing this. This is how you would do it the old way. So actually, you can see if I hold on to this, this displays true. Now it's false. Now if he held it, it won't display true for us. Now if I
I
hold
see
it,
it.
I see it. Now if I do the same thing, this is
Yeah.
Oh man. Now
You can find that in users, and I think it's status.
users. Okay, so let's back out here. Users status is local user. You got is user host,
There's a
is
lot of
user
good ones in there, like
present.
is live, is Patreon, like is user present. So like you can tell someone's AFK with that one. So if you want to do like an AFK thing for your avatar, you could set that up. Or is user in world. Again, you could use that for like when you leave a world and your avatar is still there. So there's a bunch of fun stuff in there people could use to customize things. You could even have like a little way sign. If like, you're working on something, you leave the world open, you go get lunch, and your world automatically puts up a sign.
What?
I don't know what that is.
Uh, Brooks, is your account secure?
Nobody click that link just in case until we figure out what's going on with that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we we
Okay.
were worried someone. Okay, you guys should be fine.
Okay. I I don't I don't know. Although what doesn't help is AI bots that are advertising on this platform.
Yeah, we had some bots come in before and start like putting links and advertisements to like shampoo or something. It was dumb. Oh, let's showcase this thingy.
Oh, yeah. So, this is it? It's not visible on the camera.
Oh
That's
yeah, I did that on
interesting.
purpose so that it wouldn't pop up in like Flesh and
Reflection
Broke and
probes.
stuff.
Ah, that makes sense.
Boop, there you go.
You know, I'm gonna click the link. Oh, it's this. Okay, I'm gonna copy it. An example. It's like I know about these comics, but I didn't know the name.
Oh,
It's just that very simplistic kind of style, reminiscent of those like newspaper comics you'd see or early internet comics.
I didn't know that those had like a name. Honestly,
Yeah, it does remind me of Newgrounds as well too. XKCD by Randall Munro. Ah, make sure I got Streamlabs focused real quick. There we go. You know, there's things that I don't know about, folks, that probably like millions of people know. But then again, there's things that you probably don't know that millions of people that know about. So, yeah. Would you like to go over the tool that you're talking about?
yeah. I'm just setting up a use case for it real quick.
Oh, there's also, wait, is this? Oh, well, he sets that up. I figured I'd mention this right here. This is the camera rig that was originally in the Essentials previously. It definitely needed a touch up. Right now, there's an invisible camera right here, or camera anchor. I could probably click on it, and then I can tilt it up and down. Actually, the camera's so big I can't even click the button because it overlaps, and I got the hiccups.
Oh no. You put it on the other selfie stick.
Yeah, I did. Where did it go? Oh, there it is.
It's right there.
So I can move it up and down, and if I rotate this with my hand, it keeps it level. I can also change the FOV on the camera as well too, using these buttons. Not much else to that one in particular. I'm gonna switch it back to manual and scale it up here. And it's still attached to the thing. Okay. I'm just gonna let you do it. There we
Ready with
go.
this thing.
You get to go. All right.
Yeah. Okay. So, people probably made like 1,000 of these, but I decided to make like just kind of a somewhat official version with a UI for people to easily use. Um, this is what I'm going to call a slot management wizard. So if you are working in a world and you're placing a lot of assets and they have a lot of the same name, so like on this thing here, we have all these things that are in the root. And you might want to take those things and put them somewhere, but you don't want to do it manually. Well, we can go grab a container, which in this case is like right here. Just take container, and you can drag and drop it into that top search slot. By default, if you don't put anything there, it'll assume you're trying to search the root. Where's the camera? Is it on your POV or my POV?
Oh, it was on yours, but
Probably be on yours because I have a big snout.
it's the hair.
Yeah. Then you can go ahead and input the name of the thing you want to grab. So we got the container, the thing, and you got to also put where you want to put it. So at this point, we're going to put it in container. Yeah, just regular container. And I'm going to actually put the search as a user container. There we go. And if you click it once, it'll ask you if you want to reparent those slots. See here. I think it's using a number from earlier. Fix that. But there we go. Now, if I look inside this one, all of those things that were in there are now in here. And say we want to replace all of these with something new and move them to another one. We can just grab another slot, put it here. We'll use container to search, and we'll use this as the replacement. So there we go. And then we'll boop. Oops, there we go. And now they're all over here. It's basically just a tool to move things around and change stuff up. It's honestly pretty simple. Oh, you can also clear slots. So if we take the name of this, throw it in there, and we don't have a replacement, and we don't have a reparent, it's just container 2. Just hit delete children, and they're gone. Everything in that child, or all the children of that object will get destroyed. So you can clean up stuff pretty easy.
Things you can only see in VR or in coding. Oh no. Oh, let me get the camera. There we go.
There's a few things I want to clean up on it before I put it in the essentials, but once it's done, I'll put that in there in case people need to use it for things. We're constantly needing something to like move objects like that around, especially in, say, even this map that we're in right now. We recently replaced the plants in here, and we had to like, use like a protoflux box cube thing set up. So much nicer to just have a little menu you can just throw some things in and click. We also have another thing to showcase, which we just set up, so it might have a few bugs, but we shall see how it works. Where is it? User container. This one. Okay.
Oh, I have to smooth it out again. There.
I'm going to put this in root real quick. There we go. So this thing, let me show you the hierarchy real quick.
I do not see the UI menu in the.
Oh, yeah, let me fix that. There you go. Be able to see it now?
Yep.
So once you spawn this out, you'll see a little panel here, and the system will already be working. This is a quick little setup for dynamic reflection probes and reflection probes that affect the ambient light of the world with spherical harmonics, so that you don't have to go through all the craziness of setting up the drives and stuff for those. So if you're building a world and you want really nice reflection probes that fit the lighting of the room, you can just drag and drop this system in and position the probes. Now, it has a template probe right here, which I'm actually going to enable the debug visuals for. There's a little checkbox here for that. Now, if we look, let me bring that over here. You'll see a little bubble.
Bubble.
This bubble represents the volume that will enable the reflection probe switch. In order to edit it, all you have to do is have a dev tool out and then make sure it's selected. Let me do that again real quick. Go to the gizmo options and then sphere mesh. And you can then just resize it right here. I'll have a box option for this at a later point. For now, it's just sphere. And this sphere is also just a visual. So once you're done setting this up, you can delete these components without breaking the system. The reflection probe that's in here is set up to affect a large area, but you don't have to worry about the bounds of the reflection probe because the sphere is the thing that's influencing it. And we're using the new spatial variables in order to switch the reflection probe that is affecting the ambient lighting. Most of this stuff, though, you don't need to worry about because you can just take this reflection probe, duplicate it, and as long as you set up the sphere to be the volume of the room, it'll automatically work just right out of the box. And in order to add more, you simply just have to just duplicate and it'll automatically just work. You place it over here and it'll auto switch which probe is working.
Do you
I don't see any lighting changes at the moment because there is a previous system in the world already that I need to replace. So, but we can see it switch on this skybox component here.
Do you have a fallback for when you're outside of it?
Yes. So the default skybox component by default comes with this reflection probe here. This is set up as the fallback for the system if there's no probe. So it should just be fine. Like it's never going to be null. And this checkbox that says dynamic reflection probe system, this is a checkbox for a real-time reflection probe. Now, you don't have to use this in your worlds if you don't want to. It is heavy in some cases, but what it does is turn on locally for each user a reflection probe that is running in real time, giving real-time reflections and ambient lighting updates.
I can see it in my armor.
Yep. It gives a lot of detail to the world.
Actually, an even better visual for it is if we get a sphere.
Let me make sure the one inside the normal world is turned off as well.
Let's make this shiny. There we go. Now you can see all the reflections in here.
Yep.
Whoops. These things definitely can be heavy, but they make for some great ways to make accurate lighting effects in here.
Yeah. And if you want to reduce the performance impact they have, you can just lower the resolution of the the real-time reflection probe. It will make the reflections a little blurry, but it will give you much more frame rate back. And I'll let people kind of decide, I guess, what a good default for that is. But the system is pretty much done. We just have to like double check it for any kind of bugs and stuff. But once we hand this out, people can just kind of duplicate whatever they want all over the place and just hit bake reflection probes and you're done.
I realize there's something that I'm doing with this camera, and I realize why I'm doing it. Is like I'm positioning myself this way as if I'm moving this way on the screen. So I'm thinking what I should do is add a button somewhere to flip the preview of the default camera so it's easier
Yeah.
to position folks and all that. You think that answered Finks Fallen's question there? What they asked is, what's the advantage of this system versus regular reflection probes if you aren't turning dynamic on?
So, the upside of using these reflection probes is that they hook into the ambient lighting of the world. So if you look at this component right here, this is on all skybox slots that are generated with new worlds. They have these components in them: procedural sky material, the ambient light SH2, and the reflection probe SH2, and a reflection probe. It uses all of these to affect the lighting of that world. By default, it's just using the one that's in here, which is set up to only change if you change the skybox. It's a low resolution, it doesn't provide very much lighting data, and it never changes. So if you don't add reflection probes or change stuff in there, you'll have basically just like kind of flat lighting the entire time. Now, you can do a few things. You can just add reflection probes that are in the world, and then make sure they have different priorities. And that's just kind of how people were doing it to begin with. However, those can get complicated because you have to figure out when to turn one off, when to turn another one on, and the like priorities between them. And also the blending, because if you don't set it up with the dynamic system, the blending is going to be hard. When you switch reflection probes, you'll see an immediate light change, like someone's turning on and off lights, especially if you're going in or outdoors.
As
The way
well
I've set up
as
this,
with reflection probes, in Unity at least, you cannot rotate them at all. Even with modern versions of Unity, it's only a box. You can scale it as wide, tall, and like long as you want, but you cannot rotate them for some reason. But in here, you can have boxes and spheres so far that you can rotate at any angle with spherical, not just spherical monarchs, but I meant spatial variables.
Yeah. Another thing is that like if you have a reflective surface like Aegis's armor or like a mirror that is just a mirror and not like an actual in-game object mirror, or even just like shiny metal or glass, those reflections will not be accurate to the scene because the default reflection probe, it won't know what the default scene looks like. It will never have baked it. It'll just look like a blurry kind of gray picture for the most part. When you do add a reflection probe, you'll see a detailed picture of the scene so that when you are looking at a reflection on a surface, you'll see the room that you're in. Now, what I've set up with this dynamic system is it looks more complicated than it is. It's actually extremely simple, and there's not even like any protoflux to run the whole thing. It's just components for the most part. I'm taking the lighting from the reflection probe, I'm smoothing it, and then sending it to the ambient light. That makes it so that when you switch probes, there's not a hard cut between them, so it smoothly transitions between probes, and then it also will ramp up quickly whenever you turn on the real-time one. That way those real-time reflections actually have real-time lighting. If you ever use this, actually, we could turn on the real-time one and go to like the cave and showcase that too.
You want to head over there?
Yeah. Yeah, the reflections are turned on for me.
Let me make sure. Yep, they're on for me as well. So let's start
Okay.
by going under this bridge here.
There was another one in the world, so it may.
Oh, I may need to turn that off. On.
Hold on. Let me turn off the.
Because I see the reflections change, but not the lighting.
Yeah. Let me turn off this one. There we go.
Oh, that
And
means I
make sure
gotta
this is on.
turn that on.
Yeah, there we
And
go.
then move around. You can even see it in there, too.
Yep. So now, if we head over here, you'll see it gets much darker in here compared to outside. And if we have anything that's bright, like our context menus, it'll look like it's lighting up the scene, the whole world in here. I was bringing this in so I could turn it on and off. So right now, Aegis is using a point light, and you can see that when he turns it on, the light is bouncing off the walls, and you can see it in the world. But if I just pull out a bright object, can you turn off the light? When we have the real-time lighting, something that doesn't have a light source on it can make it look like the scene is lit up. You can see it shining on the cave walls, and it's just being affected by the reflection probes saying that it has ambient light. So it can add a lot to the scene, especially if there's like a lot of changing colors or lights. If you have like a shiny rave room, it'll add all kinds of craziness to the scene. And this is what it looks like with this turned off. Let me do this.
Oh.
Yep, that's with the real-time reflection probe turned off. The lighting is very flat. You see the default reflection probe fallback for the skybox. That's what this is right here. This is without even the regular reflection probes either. This is literally the fallback, the default for the world.
Also, I realized I had screen space reflections turned on, so that kind of messed with me, like on my visual end. So I turned that off.
Let's head back to the boards and see what people are saying.
As well as chat. Oh, I was being taken away by the current again. Whoop. There we go.
Sorry if that answer was a little long-winded, but I really like the stuff that reflection probes and spatial variables have brought to the look and feel of maps. It makes them a lot funner.
And to answer Finks Fallen's question, yes.
Yes, it's just that if you update that lighting in the cave, it won't update in real time. But if it's a static light, like just a shiny crystal that never moves, or a light that is always on, and you bake the reflection probe in that area with that thing on, it will provide ambient lighting to the scene, and you don't have to worry about that at all.
Oh, Angel Boy said I can't wait for proper screen space reflections. Now the thing is, you technically can enable them in here using the settings menu. It's just it doesn't really work that well in VR compared to like just a 2D screen because of how, if I recall, how it was like designed.
I just noticed we're 10 minutes over.
Yeah, although it was a little bit late because of me trying to get Steam to update Resonite.
How about we
so.
do like maybe 10 minutes of questions? 5 or
Yeah,
10 minutes.
10. Yeah, that sounds good.
So if you guys got any questions on anything, feel free to send them in here. Maybe you got a question mark at the end of your sentence, and it'll pop up on a little message board we have here. Hopefully this tool here can let people try out reflection probes in a way that they haven't before, since it's going to be a lot easier for you guys to use them. I'll put some notes in it on how to use it, but for the most part, you just have to duplicate the static reflection probe, put it wherever you want, and just make sure it's got a big enough volume for the room that you have. And then you bake the reflection probes and it should be good to go. This will replace the skybox that is in the world, or at least the component that's there. So if you want to use it with, say, like the Dawn Sky, you just have to make sure that the Dawn Sky material is put into this skybox. That's about it.
And there is a thing that was added not too long ago in Resonite, and that is the ability to set the default skybox as a method. And what I mean by a method is the thing that you can plug in either components or protoflux to trigger an action within the inspector, or within a component, not in the inspector. And for example, the camera has a few. One is just capture an image, the other one is trigger the camera, which if it has like the timer on, it'll use it. Or say like if you're editing an image, there's like a huge list of them, of like changing the color and all that, or inverting the position, or changing the scale. Now, there's one of those to set the default skybox of a world now. And you can either use protoflux or components in order to, like, say, make a drag and drop skybox that you can just spawn in a world and boom, everything's set up for you. That's what we're
In
gonna
fact,
try to
just
do
want
with
to set
the
with that right now.
default one.
If you click on Skybox Set as Default, there's a little button on the Skybox component that says Set as Active Skybox.
There we go. Almost forgot to set POV. Right
See where
here.
it says, yep.
And then I can get a protoflux tool and then grab it. It'll say System Action. So what we're going to need is to open the radio menu, and I'm going to hit Proxy, and it will create this specific node called a method proxy. And essentially what it does is if you put a impulse through it, it will call that.
It'll act as though someone pressed that button.
Yep.
Which I think you just pressed it because I saw the lighting change.
Oops.
It's okay. We'll turn this on. Honestly, if you guys set up your materials correctly in the world and you have like a real-time reflection probe, you can get pretty close to like photorealistic textures and or lighting and stuff. It won't be quite there because obviously we don't have ray tracing, but it'll look really dang good.
I think I know how I can end the stream since we're in this. Let me just do this and rotate it a little. Where's one of those inner tubes?
Oh yeah. Set this to.
There we go. I need one of these. Take chat with us and sail across this lazy river. Last few minutes.
And yes, the lazy river does work in this world. You kind of just sit in it. Use the ground thing. You can show that off too, since you can grab the ground and pull up the water level.
I arise. Oh, and
in case you hadn't
there we go.
tried it in this map, if your avatar is short or you're just small in general. If you grab the bottom of the water, you can pull it, and it'll set like a little invisible collider for you to judge how deep in the water you sit.
Why did it stop here?
I don't know. That's interesting.
Okay, I'm going again if I walk over here. That works.
Maybe you bottomed out.
Oh, Angel Boy asks, you know what? Screw it. Straight up ray tracing at Resonite? When computers are strong enough.
I mean, we might be able to see path tracing because I think it's a little bit less expensive.
Yeah, that'll be
I'm not sure
interesting.
the specifics on that, but I know it's kind of like ray tracing, but in a different method. There's some Minecraft shaders that use path tracing rather than ray tracing. They can get similar results. Yeah, feel free to send some questions. We got about 4 minutes left.
Chat with us.
We'll be
I'm
here.
gonna duplicate chat so it's visible.
There you go.
Oh, now it's in. Okay, let's bring it closer. Some of the things that the art team still is working on is going through. I know Ryuvi's been working on uh, a system for the team that allows us to have organized meetings within Resonite itself. It's one of the things they've been working on, as well as a the default teleporter that's going to be within the tutorial world, the avatar gazebo, and the cloud home, which will allow folks to travel between those worlds or to any open session that is within Resonite that is public. Oh, this one's having trouble connecting versus the one behind us. Okay, there we go.
Maybe because there's more than one in the world.
Or maybe because I duplicated it as well on top of that.
Yeah.
We got a question from Devster89. Any news on the IK and full body updates in the near future? We are not sure exactly what feature is going to be worked on next after the splitting, which also will be performance updates.
Those are also Fruit's questions, though, since
Yes.
we wouldn't be doing IK and full body stuff on our end.
But as I said, it's more or less on what the team decides what we're going to do as well. But if you look on our GitHub and search by votes, it is one of the most highest voted features as well, or thumbs up as well, because you can upvote things that people would like to see within this platform implemented. I know some other things like cloud spawning has recently gone up in popularity, as well as things like collections. And going further down the list, I remember seeing things like physics, nested nodes, uh, permission systems, IK, and that is like one of the top three.
And when people vote on stuff, it really just helps us figure out what the community is wanting at the time. It may not necessarily be what we ultimately work on, but it definitely helps us gauge, what the community wants, what's going on, and what we can do at the moment.
Seeing like
Because
what's
there
the
are
best for the community and the team and at the time right now. say if
Yeah.
something also would take less time to implement, but everyone benefits from it, that might also be another thing too to take into consideration. Or if it makes the say the jobs easier of the coders. I know one of the things Brooks has been talking about here and there. They made a whole video answering a question about it, and that's molecule, just like improving the workflow of the coders within Resonite, which would make development faster for them or any of the coders there.
It is 20 after, so we'll probably
Yep,
call it here.
and
Thank you everyone for dropping by, asking your questions, and being with us while we showcase some stuff that we've been working on.
alrighty. Well, I hope you'll have a wonderful evening or morning, depending on where you are. And
See you
y'all
guys
take care.
later.
Yeah,
Have fun building stuff in Resonite.
let's do that.